Hey, good evening. It's Saturday, January 11th, and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. Do you sometimes wonder, is wisdom better than common sense? Or is common sense better than wisdom? Or are they compatible at all? Sometimes we get this idea if we're being spiritual, we're not going to be very smart, we're not going to be very practical. But what Proverbs chapter 8 is telling us is there's nothing more practical than to pursue wisdom, to be wise. As we talked about a couple nights ago, if we love wisdom, we have a love affair with the voice of God, with the person of God, with the Spirit of God, with the way He wants to run His world. The dictionary, a kind of a composite definition for common sense that the dictionary gives us is it's the ability to make sound judgments and reasonable decisions and actions. The ability to make sound judgments, sound decisions, and to make reasonable actions. There can be nothing more sound or more reasonable than to act with wisdom. You see, we want to be in sync with the way God runs His world. It's not just a matter of right or wrong. Right or wrong, of course, are important. But am I going to be consistent with the way God runs things? Am I going to pour water in my gasoline tank? Or am I going to pour gas in my gasoline tank? Common sense says you pour water in. Common sense says you pour gas in. Well, wisdom is doing those things that are consistent with how God runs His world. Are we going to live in a way that is consistent with that? That's sound judgment. That's wisdom. In Proverbs 8, verse 14, talking about this passion we have for wisdom, it says, this is the New Living Translation, and this is the words here are good, because common sense and success belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. Well, the common sense is translated in several translations of counsel. Another translation has good advice or advice. So common sense is a good application of what counsel means here. So, speaking in this feminine voice of wisdom, calling out to us. Remember, we started chapter 8. Listen as wisdom calls out. Right now, wisdom is calling out and saying, common sense and success belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. If I want to be wise in the things of this world, if I want to have common sense in that sense, wisdom is what I need. And you get wisdom by taking the truth of God and applying it to life. Remember, that's our definition for wisdom. Wisdom is taking the truth of God and applying it to your life. And it's a skill. And the better we get at it, we're going to have more insight. We're going to have more strength to deal with the issues that we face. So in verses 15 and 16 then, because of me kings reign and rulers make just decrees. Rulers lead with my help and nobles make right judgments. Those, if you're going to lead a company, a family, a brother, a sister, a son, or a daughter, in any capacity, wisdom is what you need. We need to be the ability to make wise decisions, not based upon the wealth of this world, which is, Paul says, is so uncertain, but on what true wealth is, what true riches are. See, that's the only common sense that matters. So it's a false dichotomy to say, well, I got to do the right thing. I have common sense. I can't do this spiritual thing, this religious thing, this Bible thing. But in reality, nothing could be further from the truth if we separate wisdom from common sense. Common sense, in our way to use it, is defined by wisdom. Do we take wisdom and apply it to life? That is common sense. The financial decisions you have to make, decisions about friendship, decisions about having wisdom about who to marry, that kind of common sense comes from this book, and especially in places like the Proverbs, the wisdom literature of the Old Testament. So let's get rid of the myth that wisdom and common sense are two different things. Rather, true common sense is defined by wisdom. It doesn't get any more practical. Again, all the things I've been talking about. Gentle answer turns away wrath. What could be more valuable than that? Realizing that the kisses of an enemy are profuse, but the wounds of a friend are faithful. That's common biblical sense, fueled by wisdom. Again, let me know if you have any thoughts or feedback. It's a good way to end this week. Thank you for being here. And again, the wisdom is what we need to flourish in the world that God has created. If we love wisdom, we will have that love back. And that's a beautiful thing. You can look forward to seeing you on Monday. Have a great Lord's Day tomorrow, and thank you again for being here. Good night.